It's no secret that the AAA games industry has declined in recent years due to oversized budgets, oversized game files, and most importantly, design choices dedicated to make games more profitable while removing their fun and enjoyment. However, as a byproduct, both indie games and AA games have really gotten better and better and better, and they have more room to shine than ever before. One of those games is a game called Deadzone Rogue. It's an FPS roguelike, and I have become completely obsessed with it over the past few weeks. And I thought it'd be really fun to talk about it in a video, and see if y'all would like it as well. So, I say we jump right into it. Let's look at Deadzone Rogue. So, for anybody who isn't familiar with what a roguelike is, here's the quick rundown. You start an adventure, collect some loot, you level up, you get stronger, maybe feel like a god for about 5 minutes, and then you die. And when you die, that's it. Right back to the beginning. Deadzone Rogue takes that core formula and drops it into a gritty sci-fi setting aboard a colony ship. You wake up with absolutely no memory. No idea who you are, why you're here, or what the hell happened. The only things you immediately are greeted with are a basic map, a weapon skin station, and most importantly, a little plant named Planty. Planty here is the best character in the entire game, and I will fight anybody who says otherwise. From there, your journey is going to begin. You're exploring the halls of this massive spaceship, piecing together little fragments of a larger mystery. You're fighting corrupt machines while slowly uncovering clues. And you're going to start asking questions like, why are there no other colonists? Why is a ship still docked on Earth when it should have been scheduled for a Mars colonization mission? What are these robots doing? And most importantly, why does Planty look like he's judging me? The deeper you go, the darker it gets. The game is broken up into 3 main zones, each with its own escalating sense of, okay, something seriously messed up is happening. Zone 1 gives you that classic sci-fi spaceship aesthetic. Sterile corridors, metal bulkheads, flickering lights, you know, the basic standard spaceship setting. Zone 2 shifts the tone ever so slightly. You'll still be navigating through the spaceship, but now you have new features like cargo bays, cryo chambers, and even a few colonist housing. And then there's Zone 3. Zone 3 is when the game stops being subtle. We're talking about massive walls of flesh, twitching machinery, and weird experiments. A grotesque and awesome display of body horror and sci-fi madness goes on in this whole zone. It's wild, and this is where the game's design really cranks it up to 11, and it starts to really feel as if it's its own thing. Now, let's talk about the story for a sec. Because while this game does have one, it's not going to win an Oscar, but it is interesting enough to keep you moving forward at least a little bit. Basically, the ship's central AI suffered a catastrophic failure after an EMP blast. This blast fried its core programming and destroyed several of its core parts. In a desperation to repair itself, it started doing the only thing it could with the limited resources left on the ship. And that was by harvesting the brains and tissues of colonists. Because, hey, nothing screams high-tech problem solving like human meat parts. As a result, you are manually reactivated by the system and have to take down the ship's core. It's a simple premise, but it gives you enough of a hook to justify the action. You're not just running and gunning for the fun of it, you're uncovering what happened and figuring out how to shut this AI down and trying to get out alive. This story isn't super deep or emotional, not in the slightest. It's more of a light narrative backdrop that just gives context to the environment and sets up some pretty cool boss fights at the end of each level. And for a game of this scale, it works. The environments are moody and well designed, and the enemy models are identifiable. There's a surprising amount of visual variety as you move from one zone to the next. But honestly, what pulled me in the most, and kept me coming back, wasn't the visuals or the story, it was the gameplay alone. Deadzone Rogue delivers some pretty solid FPS action. Every gun feels responsive and distinct, and no two weapons feel exactly alike. And that's one of the game's biggest strengths. You've got your usual suspects: fast-firing automatics, hand cannons, semi-autos, snipers, shotguns, energy rifles, even miniguns. And that's just scratching the surface. What's impressive is that each weapon archetype has its own identity. In a lot of loot-heavy games, guns can start to blur together, the same feel but different stats. But in Deadzone Rogue, everything feels really independent of each other. Swapping weapon archetypes actually changes the way you want to play. It's like a giant gun buffet with several different choices. Now, to kick it up a notch, Deadzone Rogue adds an element system. Every weapon comes infused with an element like fire, lightning, void, plasma, or telekinetic energy. As weapons increase in rarity, from common to uncommon, rare, legendary, and epic, they gain more and more powerful elemental bonuses. Let's say you have an uncommon fire weapon. It might apply a burn effect after a certain threshold of damage. But if it's upgraded or you find a rare version, now enemies with that burn debuff explode when they die. This is just one example, but each element has its own unique flair and synergy. But the loot just doesn't stop with weapons. After clearing a room, you're gonna get a special reward. This is usually either something like a buff item, items that give you faster reloads or reduce damage from certain sources. Or you'll get an augment, which changes your entire build. Think 20 plus fire damage, or 15% shields when using a certain weapon type. And that's where the fun really kicks in. You might find a few lightning augments, and then pick up a giant electric minigun, and suddenly you're becoming a walking thunderstorm. You're just spraying lightning bolts everywhere without a care in the world. And it's that kind of build crafting that makes the game really fun. One of my personal favorite augments though has to be the little helper bots. These little guys float around and they're really useful. They're able to distract enemies, deal damage, and they can even copy one of your elemental effects. What's better than one gay little robot? Two gay little robots. And what's better than two gay little robots? How about three gay little robots? And oh my god, is that 4 gay little robots? Each of the game's 3 zones come with its own set of missions. The first mission in each zone is a 30-room run where you'll explore the area, get a feel for the story. Once you complete that though, you're going to unlock a bunch of shorter missions, usually 20 rooms around that length. But there's usually a twist. These missions often come with their own unique modifiers, like only specific enemies or only specific weapons can be used. You also get chances to fight in these COD-like zombie mode where you're trying to survive for as long as possible. Add in the ability to crank up the difficulty from easy all the way to nightmare mode, you've got a ton of variety and replay options available to each zone. I had a total blast playing this game, and honestly, I just enjoyed goofing around the most. Some screws loose, buddy? Yeah, it happens, you know. Which one I'm gonna kill you first? Hello? Where are you? There you are. Goodbye. I want to go with psychic powers, because nothing says psychic like shotguns. Don't worry, I'll make this extra painful. I just realized I only have pants on right now. Technically not even pants, just boots. I am butt-ass naked out here. Oh, finally, a chest piece. Now I can hide my bulging pecs. You know, Jeffrey, sometimes I feel like it's just me and you in this world. Oh, wow. So pretty. Man. What a shithole that place was. Am I right, Jeffrey? I'm honestly so glad I found Deadzone Rogue. I've been in a gaming rut lately. You know how it is. Coming home from work, exhausted, just staring at the screen like, do I really want to get into an intense story? But then Deadzone Rogue came around. With its fun shooting mechanics, cool weapons, and of course plenty, it's easily become one of my favorite games of 2025. Seriously, it helped me break out of that gaming slump in the best way. I highly recommend you give it a shot. Hell, you might just find yourself getting hooked too. Oh, and to anyone out there calling me a brainless idiot, here's proof that I do have a brain.